Welcome to Wine Soundtrack USA. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world in 30 answers. Discover their stories, personalities, and passions.
Hello, friends and listeners of Wine Soundtrack. This is Allison Levine, and today I'm with JP Valot of Silvan Ridge in Eugene, Oregon, in the south of Willamette Valley. JP, welcome, and tell us about Silvan Ridge.
Hi, Silvan Ridge started, the facility started back in 1979. This is one of the oldest winery in Lane County. It started as Hinman Vineyards back in that time, and then got rebranded into Silvan Ridge back in 1992.
And so we're sitting on a property that's how many acres?
This is the whole property is about 8 acres, and then they have a state vineyard which is around 5 acres right now.
5 and 8?
Yeah.
Oh.
8 total with the building and 5 in grapes.
Okay, and your total growth is 5 acres?
Yes, but we make 14,000 cases. So basically we buy 95% of our production come from around probably 27 different growers.
Wow. All in the Willamette Valley?
No, mostly the Willamette Valley. So we give Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris, and Early Muscat from the Willamette Valley, and then all the big reds come from the Rogue, right there in the Medford, Ashland area, which will be Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Tempranillo, Viognier, Sauvignon Blanc, and I may be missing one or the other one, but I did this. So basically, we work with 2 AVAs. So the Pinot Noir comes from this area, South Willamette Valley, and then from one vineyard that we purchased from the Salem area, which is kind of north from here.
Okay. And you said your total case production is 14,000 cases?
Close to 14 between the 2 brands that we have, yes.
And what are the 2 names, Silvan Ridge?
So Silvan Ridge is the main brand, and then Hinman Vineyard, which is the original name of the place. We kept the name, so that will be a second brand, which is not second quality, but it's a different approach.
Okay. And where are the wines available?
Wines are available 100%, of course, here at the tasting room, but then we are in on-premise, off-premise, 14 different states. We're still kind of boutique wine, so we don't have a lot of wine just to go many places. We made many cases, but we have 13 different wines. So basically, Pinot Noir is one of the biggest, Pinot Gris is the second biggest, and then Malbec. I believe we're one of the biggest producers of Malbec here in Oregon, which is a little bit over 1,000 cases. Not much for a guy that comes from Argentina, which make million cases of Malbec, but it's a good number for the variety, which is a non-Pinot Noir variety. So
absolutely. Yeah, so you mentioned you're from Argentina, clearly with your accent. You are an Argentine. What is your first memory relevant to wine? You were telling me you're from Mendoza, so you're from a wine region. Do you come from the wine business?
Yes, worked down there. Family also is related to the industry. My dad is still a wine broker down in Mendoza. Hi, Dad. Probably won't be listening to this, but anyway, I just want to say hi. And Mom, don't forget Mom. So the idea of coming up to Oregon came after there was an exchange program, and there was some opportunity to come up here and work in the industry. So there was 2 options for the time that I was able to come, and then they mentioned kind of Washington and Oregon. And funny that back in the time, I didn't know there was a Washington state. So when they say Washington, I thought it was D.C. I said, no, there's no grapes in D.C. So not going there anyway. So then talked to some of my friends about Oregon, and they say about Pinot Noir, and they fell in love with the area. And this is 2001 anyway. In that time, Pinot Noir in Oregon, it was only for sparkling, so it was made into a white wine. So never seen a red Pinot. And then so first time seeing it over here, it was kind of disappointing anyway. Coming from Mendoza, which is the ones that are really dark, concentrated, Pinot, and this is 2001, which weather was different what we have right now, were really light. And it was kind of shocking that actually it was a darker rosé what I saw that was Pinot Noir.
So one of your first memories of wine was a disappointment.
Kind of, not in a bad way. It's just surprised. Like I said again, I mean, Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, all these varieties that we have in Mendoza, they were really dark compared to what we have right here. But then you need to understand different variety, different wine, different style, and you can just normalize everything like the way that you want to see it. I remember many producers here, they came from different states that actually bought properties. They were Cabernet Sauvignon lovers, and they bought Pinot Noir vineyards. And then when we making the wine for them, because we also custom craft facility, and they said, well, I want a darker, I want a more like a cab. I said, well, if you want a cab, like a cab, just buy a cab. So why you want this wine, which you know is more fruitier, more delicate, more medium palate and everything, just to become a full body concentrated dark wine. So the idea here, because we work with so many different varieties, is just to keep everything 100%. We have two main blends, which are meant to be blends, and everything is. So we try to keep the typicity of every single wine, respectful for how it should taste, how there should be the approach for the winemaking and everything.
So do you think there's a such thing as a perfect variety?
No, I mean, for customer, probably yes. For me, I don't think it's a perfect one. I mean, I like there are varieties that I like more than other ones. I love them all. I just, as a winemaker, I think as soon as you understand the terroir, the variety, where it grows, how they grow it, the grower, the relationship that we have with them, you fell in love with it. It's like one of your kids, basically. And you allow them to come from the vineyard all the way up to the winery, the winemaking process, and then getting into the bottle for the consumer to open it later. And in the whole process, you kind of feel the passion and fall in love with every single variety. I think that's why we have so many varieties. Mm-hmm. And they all, because there's so many consumers, there's different approach, and there's so many people that want to try different things too. And I think that's the important part for our region right here, the South Willamette Valley, because we're pretty close to the north part anyway. It's a long valley that actually is the longest AVA that we have that run north-south. And actually here, the south part is the beginning of the valley because the river runs south-north.
Oh.
So normally people think it's north-south, but the river starts right here. So between Eugene and Springfield, and it goes all the way up, and then end up in the Columbia Gorge, which is the main river that we have. So the south part is not that different than the north part, but the north part have more, a bigger number of winery and more vineyards, so there's more land available here. But also a key factor for us, for this winery, is we're really close to other AVAs, the Southern AVA for big reds. So Anqua, just for mentioning, and then the Rogue, or the Applegate, that's why we get our big reds. And I fell in love I tried a long time ago, Cabernet Sauvignon and a Syrah from the south part, and I've been working with growers down south since 2005. So I have 14 years working with Silvan, and the quality actually from this valley or from Oreo in general is just amazing.
Well, so back to the question when I asked about a perfect variety, obviously there's a lot of diversity here, and you're working with a lot of diversity. Is there a particular wine you've drunk that was sort of one of those aha moments, whether it was for this region or about a particular wine? Is there one memorable wine I'm sure you drink a lot of memorable wines, but is there one that really sticks out in your mind of like, wow? And do you remember what it was and when?
Well, I give the one that probably gave me wow, it was Malbec. And it was a wow because knowing Malbec from Mendoza, which is, I really love the Malbec too, it was a wow that the same grape variety actually growing in a different place will give you also a great quality. but with a different components, different mouthfeel, aroma will be different. So here is more like a cool climate Malbec, and by cool climate means so the difference between day temperature and night temperature, we're talking about probably 40 degrees, the change. So you don't have that in Mendoza. So basically, one of the issues that we used to have, at least I will speak for myself, that you lose a lot of natural acidity in the wine. Here, the wines, you don't have to even touch the acidity in the wine. Natural acidity, and stay there because it cool off really, really fast at night, and that preserves the natural acidity in the grapes, and also give you more wildflower, for example. So our Malbec, if you guys have time, we'll try it. Not you in the other side, but you.
Me.
You. We have to try, and I love it. I think we have a lot of people that actually they come here for Malbec, and that's actually it's something that actually I like a lot because I'll be associated with Malbec since I'm from Mendoza, but coming with the great Malbec outside Mendoza, which is complicated, outside Argentina, I think it's something that I feel really proud about it, and the people that actually come just for that wine because they like it a lot, that's a plus.
So Malbec was one of your aha wines, a cool climate aha wines. So speaking as a wine drinker, red, white, or rosé?
I will go them all. I will do in that order. So normally during the weekdays, I don't actually drink wine. I get a little beer. To me, I gotta change the chip. It's just I've been in the wine for 10 hours. Now I go back home, and if I open a bottle of wine, it's a process. So you can't just take a glass of wine in 10 minutes. You could get a beer in 10 minutes, but it's something that they cool you off. I gotta take care of the kids, I put them in bed. So normally we leave wine for the weekend. So we have more time, we have friends coming over, and all of my friends, they have different tastes. So some of them they are in the white side, some of them the rosé. So normally we start with some whites. Some people, they stay on the white side. We transition into the rosés, which is normally Pinot Noir rosé here, and then we get into Pinot Noir, and then we'll go into the Malbec, and then we'll just go in with more either Syrah, Petit Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon.
So you're an equal opportunist. You can't pick just one.
I can't pick one. Like I always say, people, what's your favorite one? I don't have a favorite one from the winery. I will say that I have some wine that I have more fun to work with, and those are the blends.
Okay.
I explain this because we're really minimalistic in our approach, or at least my approach. So we keep everything 100%. So I try to just guide the grapes into making the wine without touching much. So we don't fine the wine, we don't clarify the wine, we just filter the wine. So the grape gets in here, distem them, put in barrel, fermented barrel, filter bottle. That's it. With the blends, you get to create something that doesn't come straight from the vineyard. So you have different components, you can create different things. And I like that part, the creativity, the creation part. That's why I enjoy more working and also drinking blends. I think blends you get more dimension in a glass of wine.
So you were saying how you would open up a number of different wines, starting with whites and into rosés and reds for dinner. How do you approach pairing with food? Do you follow rules, or do you just have fun and open wine?
No, I don't. That's why I always talk with customers here. So I'm really into balance. And the wines. And the other wines, I believe, they're really balanced. And when the wines are really balanced, then you have more flexibility in the food pairing. I really get disappointed with people. They have idea of opening a wine. They won't open because they couldn't find food to pair with. And I think that probably is really bad. Mm-hmm. If you can't open a bottle of wine because you don't know what to eat with it, that's really bad. That's a wine that meant to be drink that day, that it didn't happen because of the food.
Mm-hmm.
So the approach for our wines, like I say, is more balanced. So you drink the one that you want, and you eat what you want. Obviously, you may have more favorite food with favorite wine, but they always say, so what will you drink with Malbec? So it's always beef. So can I just have, I don't know, pasta, something beside beef? Or it has to be beef? So I hate that. And at the same time that I hate the idea of the concept that you gotta wait 5 years to drink a wine. We don't make those wine anymore. That's kind of old school, I'll put it that way, without getting into trouble with anyone. It's just my own opinion anyway. I think that at least for the United States, this market, people drink the bottle of wine right away, they buy it. There's so many little people that actually have a wine cooler and they will keep it for longer than a year. So the market has to work on those consumers. So then again come the part of we release it when we think it's ready, and then we'll keep it here. So when you get it, then if you want to let it age, you can let it age. The wine will go for 10 years easily. But that allows you to have the food that you want in the time that you want. And if you want to get it today for a dinner or a party, and it will be ready for you when you want it. So just the idea is put back the consumer back on the front seat and the driving seat, and the wine will be more on the passenger seat.
Well, so for you as a consumer, I'm sure you're more experienced and you have a cellar. It may be small. I'm not asking where you hide your wine, a big one, but what kind of wines would we find in your cellar?
You find many wines. Well, I'm glad that I have many friends in the industry, and we trade a lot. Also, I buy wines, and I look for Argentine wines. I try to support my original region, and also buys wine from here, some Italian wines. I don't know. I don't have enough time. That should be a problem. I mean, consumer may have more time than what I do because I make wine, it put me in a different spot. So I used to have more time to actually go wine tasting, and I'm a big supporter of tasting room. The tasting room is probably the ultimate experience that you can have as a wine consumer or wine drinker. And unfortunately, between the work that I have with the wine with so many hours, and then the family and all the things, it's just I don't have the time, I can't enjoy it anymore because it gotta be like 20 minutes here. So I like the experience of sitting down, talking and drinking at the same time and talking about the wine. So in my cellar, back again, it will be a variety of different wine, different vintages, and every time I got friends, we just open new wines.
So anything recently that you opened that was really good?
Yeah. Try to remember which one. We've been actually drinking most of the one that we make here, and really excited with some of the blend. Actually, I have some samples at home, and so the way that I actually get excited or no is I always try to trick my wife. Because I'll pour a glass for her and I say, here you go, honey. We were thinking about this wine. Without telling her anything, what wine it is. And I mean, she will obviously know if it's a white wine or a red wine because of the color. But I see, and then because I guess that the person that I try to impress the most will be my wife.
That's good.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's like because I always get compliments here from customers and people that work here, but it's like say, well, they come here or people work here. So I don't know, but my wife is probably most honest person that I know. And because my mom, even if I give it to my mom, if my mom will drink it,
she's biased.
It will say, oh, I love this wine, like I love you too. And I say, okay, well, mom, that's not the case. So I want you to be more, give me the honesty. And so I just do it with my wife and I say, which one is this one? And I say, you like it or not? If you don't like it, probably I won't say one of mine.
So if you were going to plan a romantic evening with your wife, which wines would you open to impress her?
So I know that Bionier, for example, in the white side, she loves those ones, and she's really fan of some of her blends. Okay. She likes a lot of wine. I think she's been She's from Puerto Rico, and the island actually is more well known for beer and some other beverage. But it's funny that when you move to a region which is in the wine industry, you are in the industry as well, and you get to try more wine, and then you develop a different palate, a different approach, and and I like that. And so it will be a white, a rosé, and a red wine for her.
A perfect meal.
A perfect meal. Food, whatever. I mean, that could be. But in her case, it has to be seafood because where she comes from.
Yeah. So for somebody who hasn't had the opportunity to taste your wines yet, what do you think they're missing out on?
Missing out a lot. Missing me, missing the wine, missing what I say. Well, we have a big diversity of different wines, and I think probably people, they come over here and they become club members, they fell in love because either where we are within the Willamette Valley, we are more than just Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris, Chardonnay, and maybe Riesling, which is has come back in the Willamette. In the valley. So here you'll find a Pinot, also at the same time big reds. And I think people like those too. I mean, I know there's a lot of customers that are really big fan and they will do Pinot all day long. But I love Pinot Noir, but I also like some other ones. So it's just, I don't think that you have to just die with one variety all night long, unless it's based on Pinot Noir or one variety.
So for someone who hasn't tasted your wine, obviously you're saying come because you're missing out on diversity. But if you had to pick one wine, if space aliens were to land on this property right now and you had to welcome them with one wine, which wine of yours would it be?
I guess I've never been here, and if you're in the Willamette Valley, probably will be Pinot Noir. But if I have a second one, it will be Malbec. I think it's just Malbec is probably one of the wines that it fit in between the Pinot, or Malbec at least, in between the Pinot and the Cab Sauv, for example. So it's like it will be more like Merlot, for example. So medium plus body, and you have all the flavors and aroma that you're looking for, but it's not overtaking anything. It's really balanced, mellow at the same time, but with a long aftertaste, long finish. All our wines are signature there. So the mouthfeel, I think, is the most important part that we emphasize, because aromas and flavor, they come from the grapes, and since we don't blend, so what you're looking in a Pinot, you will get it here. What you're looking in Malbec, you will get it here. But I think probably what differentiates our wine from any other one is the approach on the mouthfeel. So round, kind of silky, concentrated, but still silky, smooth, and dry wines. Not using sugar or anything to mask the wine. So it's complicated, but if you can make that trick, actually the wines are really, really good and really approachable by people. So normally I get compliments all the time in wine that say, "Hey, I didn't like Cabernet Sauvignon, but your cab is outstanding," and I think that's the mouthfeel part, which is everyone should be actually focused on.
So the Malbec for the space aliens.
Yes. Yeah, the Malbec. Malbec all day.
And so you don't have a huge property. You said you have 5 acres
in grapes. Yes.
In grapes. And so do you spend a lot of time in the vineyard and walking through the vines, and do you visit the other vineyards where you're sourcing fruit?
Yes, I do both.
And do you feel that do you talk to the vines? Do you feel that there's a communication that goes on between you and the vines?
I don't talk to them, but I can feel the energy in the vineyard. Actually, the vineyard that we have, the reason it's only 5 acres because that was the original site, and that goes back to 1974, 75. So really old side over here, which is unfortunately is on the bottom of this little valley here, so you get frost damage most of the time. So that's why we don't rely on our own grapes, so we just go. And I think that the idea is just get more diversity. In order to get Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon, you can't just have it here because there's no weather for.
Right.
But I spend a lot of time. Normally, when I like to walk around, and that free up my mind a lot. At the same time, I had to go see the other vineyards, either north or south, and I like it because you get to see a different scenario, different terroir, you get to talk with the growers, so we have a great relationship, we just talk. And then when we get closer to harvest time, I'm more closely checking sugar levels, everything, and then I decide when we're going to pick and everything.
So when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
I take care of my kids, which is fun. The little ones. I try to do sports, and I'm waiting for. So I try to introduce. So my son is 7 years old and my daughter 5. So I try to play sport with them, taking them to the park. I don't know, watch TV with them, just talk. I don't know, do something.
They keep you pretty busy.
Yeah, they do, and that's a good thing. They grow fast, but that's like we got funny that we got different approaches between my wife and myself, because she would say, "Oh, they're growing so fast," and I said, "Well, that's a job, and I'm glad that I'm doing that because I want to see that." Unfortunately, yeah, they will become teenagers pretty soon. But so with the wine we do 4 10s. So we get 3 days off. So I get Fridays off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I get more time so I can take the kids to school. We can watch TV, we can watch sports. The exercise part goes to the weekends. So that's what we do. And we socialize a lot.
And do you have a favorite sports team?
I do. So I'm a big fan of Boca Juniors down in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. Also watch the Timbers up here, Portland Timbers, MLS. And then I have my team that I follow from Spain, so Barcelona, Messi. Then I used to watch more, but now with the kids, they don't allow me to do that. But I kind of watch Serie A, which is the Italian league. And then sometimes we just watch basketball. So we have a basketball team and a soccer team over here. So sometimes we'll go see live sport. Now my son is kind of in baseball, so we just follow him baseball.
Well, your son's team is too young, but if one of your other teams were to win a championship, which of your wines would you want to give them to celebrate with?
All of them.
All of them. Okay.
Case each.
That's a lot of wine.
Well, it's a lot of players. It's actually so many players. I think it's nothing wrong with just taking on one variety. But it's, with so many varieties, so much quality in all of them, I don't know why you stay on one. I mean, you can have it all. If you only have money for one bottle of wine, then it's a different thing. But if you can afford just to try different wine, why not? I mean, just that's why we have a full industry here. And we can actually, Oregon, I'm surprised. Actually, the big aha moment was when I came to Oregon. And they were so pretty and so different to Mendoza, and at the same time, it's so much quality in the wine. I felt like there was and this is day one, and without me knowing any English, came right after the September 11 anyway, so it was a really rough time here in the U.S. I felt like there was potential in this place, and I think I got that right, and this is 2001.
Yeah. Well, on that note, when you look back, what would you say is one of your proudest achievements to date in your work, in your accomplishments? What's one of the things you're proudest of?
Everything. Well, this is the ego part. Like, what are you so proud of? I don't know. You should ask someone else. I mean, don't ask me about it. Well, I'm surprised the quality that we were able to achieve, the the mouthfeel part, I'm really proud of what we do here for the wines. And then probably is the family that I have and the place that I live in. So those are the...
Yeah, well, I know everyone will say family and friends. I said in work because,
true,
if your family isn't your proudest achievement, oops.
Well, some people may not pick the family, so I'm the one that I'm on it, so I'm proud of my family. So, and hopefully they are proud of me too.
I'm sure they are. When you look back, people have given you advice over the years. Is there a piece of advice that you live by, that you carry with you every day or try to live up to?
Advice like in winemaking or advice
Anything.
in life?
Either.
Well, I had a question before. I think that one advice that I got a long time ago was say always the truth. Because when you say the truth, then you don't have to think about what you said last time. So, and I think that's true. I mean, like 100% true. You say the truth, you forget about it.
Yeah.
Because you're always saying what. Well, and sometimes the truth could be true one day, and you could change your mind too. But I think that's the nice advice. And then the other part will be the social part. Try to be a good human with everyone, beside your family, your neighbors. So just try to be good with everyone in any situation. I think the important part is that even if you are down, they should be able to treat people the right way, even when you're not having a good time. I think that's the key.
Well, that's advice that we could all live by.
Yeah, I think that's...
So, complete this sentence for me. A table without wine is like?
No table. Invisible table. It's an invisible table. No table. That's fake news.
Fake news.
That's tricking you. No table. And run.
Okay, so now, another fun question. If you could have anyone from any walk of life, a living person or they could be past, sitting at the table with you, drinking your wine, who would you want that to be?
My grandparents. I don't, even when they passed, I was in college, so I didn't have that much time. I think what they brought me to this passion, so it will be, sorry, I get a little emotional. So I think it will be a good way to close the circle. So they gave me this, and I just want to show them what I did with the gift that they gave me. So
that's beautiful.
Oh,
I'm gonna tear up now too.
These tears are free.
Oh, they're tears of happiness because of.
Sorry.
It's a beautiful thought. So, I'll make you think a little harder going off track. If you were going to a deserted island, name 3 wines, just 3 wines that you would take with you. I know that you would want to take every wine you make and every other wine because diversity is good, but you're allowed to pick 3 wines.
3 wines in a desert island. So I'm not going by myself, right?
It's your island, so.
In my island. So, in my island, I can do whatever I want. Well, I'll if I'm coming with someone, I'll allow that person to pick the wines.
No. You don't get off that easy.
That's my island. You say my island, so you give me permission.
You have to pick. The only rule is you have to pick 3 wines.
3 wines.
You don't have to have a specific brand if you don't want. You can just tell me a variety or a region.
Well, we'll take a white, a rosé, and a red. How about that?
You're not going to give me anything more.
No, it's picking 3 wines. Those are 3 wines.
What white wine?
Colors.
What variety?
Let's see. What white wine I will choose to go with me? I think I would pick Viognier.
Viognier.
Because I'm taking my wife with me.
Okay.
So at least we'll have a good start.
A Viognier from a particular region?
I'll pick the Southern Oregon.
Southern Oregon?
Yeah, the Rogue Valley.
Okay.
Then the rosé, it will be a Pinot Noir rosé. I don't really like it. I like the brightness in the acidity. Because the Pinot Noir rosé gives you the kind of the white and the red, but also it's more on the white side, more refreshing and that's what probably you want on the transition anyway. And then the red wine. I'll pick a Malbec.
A Malbec, of course. But a cool climate one from here or Argentina?
Oh, jeez. That's a tough question right there. I'll pick both.
Okay.
Both.
You can take 4 wines.
Thank you. Probably I won't go anywhere. I'm not going to Ireland unless they have.
So
I like it. Not just I want to support both. I think I like both at the same time.
yeah, different styles. Yeah. So just really quickly, we like to play a little game where we pair wine with music and what we'd want to listen to. So of the wines you take to your island, what kind of music would you want to listen to? It could be a genre or a particular song, but start with that Viognier, the Rogue Valley Viognier.
The Rogue Valley Viognier, the music that will go straight with that wine, and again, because it's based on my wife, it will be salsa music.
Oh, I like
salsa.
that.
So
okay.
more tropical. The island, I'm assuming the island is tropical, right?
It's your island.
It's a tropical island? Okay. Hopefully not the Arctic Pole, and that we're freezing anyway, but we'll keep the white wine.
Okay.
So.
The rosé of Pinot Noir?
Rosé of Pinot Noir, what? Rosé, I think, is still on the tropical side, but I think the salsa part will be for the first one. This one is more like I will pick something that I haven't heard in a long time, which is from Argentina, Cuarteto.
Okay.
It's from one province, which is Cordoba, and there is more like merengue. If you actually make it more general for people that don't know what Cuarteto is, I will get that. But for the reds,
you've got 2 Malbecs, cool climate and warmer climate.
Yeah, but according to what I tried from Mendoza, and you guys mentioned the Uco Valley, I think the Uco Valley is more getting closer to the cool climate. So I would say that probably will be taken from the Uco Valley. So I like, with the reds, I like Pink Floyd.
I like it. What a diverse...
I throw you off since we have salsa, merengue, Pink Floyd. I would say that the red wines are more based on myself, and I will get the white and the rosé on my wife's side.
You're very generous. Well, JP, I appreciate that, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Before we go, can you let people know where they can find you and your wines?
So you can find Silvan Ridge wines here at the winery in Eugene, Silvan Ridge, or you can Google it, silvanridge.com. You can order them online. We have 4 core wines out of the 11 that go actually to the market, so you can find them grocery store, wine shop, restaurant, hotel, everything. And then we have another probably 6 or 7 wines that are here. So for club members and also for tasting room only. Really small production, really high quality, beautiful wines that you have to come. And I will actually invite you to come and give you the great experience of trying the wine, look at the scenario that we have, the vineyards around. I mean, it's a beautiful place. You will be disappointed either by the place or the wines or the winemaker.
And my last question for you is what's at the top of your bucket list of wine regions to visit for you?
The top, well, I've been in many. So I did the one that I think I should go first. One that actually I just I'm planning on going anyway, it will be the island, the Sardinia. Yeah, I like the areas are like the same what they They go either that or also at the same time I like the Sicily. Family, actually my family came from Sicily. I'd never been there, and I always read great things about the industry, and it's really hard to find wines up here. So, and I know that, like I said before, the experience is what make the wine even taste better. So I would like to go there. And actually, I more than visiting there, I'm just trying to figure out a way that I can spend and work on there too.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're planning and plotting how you're going to get to Sicily and Sardinia. We'll get people to plan a visit to Eugene, Oregon to come visit you. So Silvan Ridge, you're open 7 days a week?
Yeah, 7 days a week, noon to 5. And then during spring, summertime, we have live music on Friday. So they go into 9 o'clock. Local musician, beautiful people. So I'm glad to see that because there's a lot of support from local people, and I think that's key for a winery our size and also for our industry, from get the local people actually support our winery.
Wonderful. So a great reason to come to Silvan Ridge. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for coming, guys. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack USA. For details and updates, visit our website, winesoundtrack.com.